Well, my fellow Go-Goers, this is where it all started. And what you're about to see is, well, the Go-Go.
G Street Express presents GoGo from the Go-Go capital of the world, Washington, D.C. Live from the Capitol Center with Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers. Experience unlimited, rare essence, and all the Go-Go crews. And now...
Legendary Gerald Scott and the legendary Miss Kirkendall. One more time, y'all, round of applause for these three. They are here live in the flesh. We're gonna start off with a little tingly winky questionnaire. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Brooks. How did you and Carol actually meet?
I got introduced to Carol through some mutual friends. Tony Taylor, Maceo Leatherwood. Tony was one of the proprietors of Bohemian Caverns down there 11th and U. Okay. And Maceo Leatherwood happened to be my graphic artist. I had an advertising agency at the time. Okay. And he was my graphic artist, and he introduced me to Tony, and they had this organization that were trying to do some positive things in the neighborhood, in the community, and they were starting a nonprofit arts organization. And then through the different meetings that we had, they took me on a ride to Virginia.
Virginia, huh?
They took me to a ride to
I see Carol's cracking up.
A long, winding road in Virginia. And I walked into her house.
They were white when they came in.
No, I wasn't white.
Wow.
We went out there. I was like, oh my gosh, where am I?
Where are you?
And had an opportunity to meet her then. And I think the thing that happened, there was some chemistry starting. Okay. And then probably after I found out who she was and how incredible she was and what she stood for in her own mind. Okay. I became kind of meshed in being a partner, along with, because I was already on the board of Compared to What, and we ended up doing business together after that, and we did a lot of fundraisers together. So by us interacting together, with the opportunity to really find out who we are as people. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met her in 1972.
Wow, I'd like 72? To interject with a thank you to one of the key people in what we were doing and what we did in the future. His name is Vantel Whitfield.
Okay.
He died Motojico. He died about in 1974. Okay. He was the first black arts representative that could give out funds at the National Endowment of the Arts.
That was a blessing.
And he made it possible for groups like the one Darryl's talking about happen and keep going.
Keep going.
And that's how it all began, really, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, let's go down memory lane. Do you guys actually remember the first show that you did together?
We have different memories, 3 different shows.
Okay, go ahead. You go
ahead, Carl. You elaborate on that one.
Oh, no. No, I put a show together as a favor. Okay. And so that was my first show.
Tell her what it was. Tell her what it was and who it was.
It was Roberta Flack.
Wow.
Les McCann and Lloyd McNeil.
And who did you do the show for, Carol?
Bill Washington.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Carol Kirkendall booked Bill Washington's first show.
I put it together.
That is a fact, Jack.
There you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of crazy to me. So you never know what's happening out here in the hemisphere. You just heard it from Ms. Kirkendall herself. Say that again for the people who...
Well, you have to understand that through Motojico, I was involved in creating programs for young people through the arts.
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the things that Darryll's group was trying to accomplish was the very first Roberta Flack honoree day. So that's how I met Roberta Flack. Les McCann wrote and sang Compared to What? And that was the name of the nonprofit arts group. And Lloyd McNeil, he was just good. He was famous. And so they came to...
That's history right there.
Yeah. Maceo brought Bill Washington, who wanted to be a concert promoter. He was working out at Goddard, and said, "Can you put together a show?" And I really didn't know anything about it, but I learned fast.
Wow.
And we sold out, and that was Bill Washington's first show.
I had no idea all this was happening.
Oh, it was happening.
Now, Bill Washington also brought us together.
This is, look, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Gerald Scott talking to you.
Bill Washington brought me together with Darryll and Carol.
Okay.
Because I was a music critic at that time for the Afro-American newspaper. Yes, I was a music critic for the African-American newspaper. And I was doing a story on Curtis Mayfield. And I went to Bill Washington because at that time...
Are y'all listening to this? Is everybody getting this?
He was the promoter for the Curtis Mayfield show. And once he found out what I was about, he said, well, I got some folks you probably want to meet. And he introduced me to Darryll and Carol.
Wow, and the rest is history, huh?
The rest is history.
Oh, let me turn the corner for you.
Let's go.
I had the advertising agency, and I was at a PR firm. So it was a natural mix when we came together, because all of us had components that made a whole. Follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All of us had components that made a whole. And we were naive enough to think that we could do anything. And just so happens we started doing almost anything. If it was suggested, it was thought of, we just did it. And then those things that bumped us in the head and said you couldn't go, well, our creativity said, no, we can figure that out. And we went around that corner, we did this. Or we played tag team. You think you can handle this, or you think you can handle it? And we kind of maneuvered through that.
One of the proudest things that we did was create one of the first interactive programs in Anacostia Park, which was called the Armpit of the Nation.
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody would touch it. Nobody would go out there and do a program. And Van Tal Whitfield said, will you? And I said, why not? I wrote a program. We all went out. And D.C. Public Schools shipped us 400 kids a day. McDonald's fed us them lunch. And we had everybody you could even think of teaching all day long. And school buses took the children home at 3 o'clock. And then in the evening, this guy started concerts.
Concerts at night in Anacostia Park. And that was like a show.
So that was you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. The Showmobile used to come out because we had the biggest crowds in the city.
Right.
Okay, that's from 72 all the way up to 75. But let me just throw some other stuff in here. Gerald and Carol put a program together, and basically we decided when we would go to different venues and places, they'd have no black stagehands, no black people working. So they did a thing with Dr. Dines up at Howard University and did an internship to put young brothers into the union in Washington, D.C. So when we went to places and say, we're going to do a show, you don't have no black hands? We're not playing. Those are the things that we were doing back in the 70s. Go ahead, Gerald, tell them the story.
So what we did was, at that time, unions...
I'm a sponge right now.
You were only brought into the union by someone who was already in the union. Or you could transfer your union card.
Yes, sir.
So what we did through Earth, Wind & Fire, through Parliament Funkadelic, and other artists...
Okay, say that again.
Through Earth, Wind & Fire, Funkadelic,
right,
and other major artists at that time said, hey, look, what we want you guys to do is take this guy onto your crew. And they would take artists onto their crews.
We asked them to take
artists
our students
this is a movie
on the road.
Right. They would take them on the road, and then when they would go to a minor city, they would then get their union cards.
Yes, sir.
And then once they got their union cards, they could transfer that union card to any city in America.
And we busted the union in Washington, D.C. That's a fact.
Wow.
And at that point, you got to remember, there were 2 unions.
Yes, sir.
In D.C.
Okay.
There was a black union and a white union. But the white unions controlled all the buildings.
Okay.
So if you weren't called in, so through Darryll Brooks, Carol Kirkendall, we then, because we worked so much with the National Capital Parks, at that point, because we were doing concerts at the National Capital Parks.
Okay.
Where it was Anacostia Park or Summer or the Summer Parks, and we were giving them artists. They gave us the Carter Barron. And the first black union that controlled the building controlled the Carter Barron. Okay, and then from there we went to Constitution Hall.
Okay.
And we pretty much put black union members in every building in the country, including the Kennedy Center.
Okay.
But the proudest moment was the Warner Theater, Gerald.
Right, and then we went to the Warner. Let Carol tell you the story about the Warner.
No, we just fought it. We had to fight it to get in there, and they fought it.
You got to understand something else. If I could just throw a little footnote in there.
Exactly.
D.C. was divided up to federal government property, district government property. You had the National Park Service, and you had the D.C. Department of Recreation.
Okay.
Those two are like oil and water. Just so happened all the black neighborhoods were in Park Service jurisdiction. But some of the better land with grass were in the federal jurisdiction.
Gotcha.
But we had a program that started out in the Feds program because the Feds, because of National Endowment, gave us a plot of land that they had no idea and was not planning on dealing with. But that was going to be their contribution. The D.C. Department of Recreation was further up the street. You know what I mean? They had a program with a pool. But our art and educational programs that were coordinated with D.C. English department, arts department, music department. We had craftsmen, teachers that would come out during the summer being a part of those programs. Plus we brought other artisans in that were doing rope, macrame, leather craft. We had guys doing film. We were doing sound reinforcement. We were doing plays. They had a program called Caligiva where they were teaching arts through drama. So a lot of things were transpiring. What's wrong? You all right?
This is...
Your eyes will get ready. So those are the kind of programs that were going on. And we would celebrate that program in April and May. We'll call that the Human Kindness Day. That was like a combination.
I was ready to get on.
That was a combination of celebrating the art and then having displays on the monument grounds, having different artists that contribute to the arts community and contribute to the consciousness of our people. And that was an opportunity for all people to come together on the monument grounds. The first one was Roberta Flack. The second one was Dick Gregory. The third one was Muhammad Ali and Nina Simone. And in 1975, it was Stevie Wonder. Now, we went from maybe 10, 15 to 20,000 people in the beginning to, I would say, between 300 to 400,000 people by the time we got to November of 1975. That's when you find out what growing pains are. Because the federal government at that time said, you know what, 1976 we got a big budget for the bicentennial. We thought we'd be a natural candidate to be able to do that presentation because guess what? We were home-based arts organization that had ties with the community, the whole area. We could present a program, a control situation, but the Feds said, we've taken this money and given it to the police department and gave it to the Park Service.
Wow.
The program we did in Anacostia Park, shut it down. The National Endowment Arts Program shut down. Now, we were still doing programs and raising funds to match our grants with our, our different companies that had sponsored us.
Yes, sir.
But it came to a point of necessity where we then had to come up with another plan. We opened up a profit-making company. I won't get into all the details of how that transpired, but you should ask them because I get a little passionate about that part. But in the interim of that, what transpired is that the profit-making arm of our company, at that time it was called Tiger Flower Company.
Tiger Flower.
So
you guys, you were Tiger Flower too?
Yeah,
Tiger Flower, G Street Express, CD Enterprises, I Hear Your Records, GoGo Live at the Capitol Center.
Let's talk about GoGo Live. We come up on the anniversary of GoGo Live. I mean, how did you guys actually put that together, man? That today is still the most historical event in the history of the DMV. Okay, we've never had anything of that magnitude. Nothing to that magnitude. What's going on, Darryll? I mean, can we make another one happen? I mean, what you guys did, as far as GoGo Live, that to me is the most important event to ever go on in the DMV. Ever. When I mean locally, our music, GoGo, that's the most important event ever.
Y'all want to take a leave because I could leave.
Because let me explain to you why. Let me explain to you why, Ms. Kirkendall. Because 70% of the bands now, they got their start off watching that video.
Correct.
Okay, so you guys, I don't know if you have any kind of idea of how much of an influence that you have on our culture. So I applaud you guys right now, because what you guys pulled off that night, 19 to 20,000 people just jumping up and down. I mean, it was crazy.
And I would like to just say that all started in Anacostia Park. That's where it started. It wasn't called GoGo, but Chuck Brown was there. Many of the groups, you probably don't even know the names of the main ingredient. I can't even say them all. Hundreds of groups over the 4 or 5 years we were in the park played. And eventually, the go-go sound, through Chuck primarily, became the sound of the streets.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was a conversation amongst people.
Okay.
It was our conversation because we were, believe it or not, tied to the streets more than we were to the federal government. And so we relied.
It's a beautiful thing, though. It's a beautiful thing.
We relied on go-go. And they, Miss Mac and all the
Miss Mac, oh, wow.
Let me give you a piece of that.
Yes,
we
sir.
decided to do.
Yeah, let me give you a piece of that. That was very significant. The Park Service at that time, we ran our shows off of generators.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when the generators went out, the Park Service had given us permission. Just go get whatever you need, the gas you need to run your generator. So it may have been a 15 or 20 minute break. So you were there. So the way you kept the crowd going, because you went totally Congress until we got the generators going back up.
I used to love that.
And then the music started back up. And you guys, when I say you guys, I'm talking about the popular bands would just go, 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 go. And that phrase actually picked up and became
go.
Right.
History lesson, message.
I would like to get into something serious. Not that all of this isn't serious, but I just want to bring up the fact that we would have 20,000 people, families, come out to the park, Anacostia Park,
Yes, ma'am.
the armpit of the world, every night. We never had an incident. We never had to call the cops. We never had a problem, not even a fight. The community took care of themselves.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Look what happened to the world once our community was denied access to anything.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what happened in 1976. There was no more feeling for what everybody had fought for, Martin Luther King had fought for, through arts education and the street. The federal government shut it all down.
Yes, ma'am.
And so now we have prisons that are made up, 90% black. And I mean, I find it incredibly intolerable that we're facing another election.
Yes, ma'am.
And we can't deal. I know people in the street are trying to deal with it. I know many groups are trying to deal with it, but we cannot deal with our prisons and our black families and the kids that end up in prison at 17 for smoking pot or for whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're not dealing with it. We need to.
You should run for president. Right? You get my vote, sweetheart. Heartbeat Conga Hour, 8 to 10 p.m. each and every Tuesday night. You like media.net. Sitting here with the legendary, I'll say the legendary like this. I'll say the legendary, formerly G Street Express, formerly Tiger Flower, and now let everybody know what the name of your organization is now.
CD Enterprises.
CD Enterprises. I'm sure you guys heard that they have the big event.
Not just another concert, but an event.
Not just another concert, but an event. You guys are heavy for it. You know what? It's like right now. I'm thanking God right now because I'm getting so much knowledge, and I love this. I'm like a sponge. I'm soaking all this up right now, and it's a lot of things that I've heard tonight that I had no inkling of, no idea. Like, I knew this was going to be like a history-making interview for me, but it's been way more than that thus far. and I commend you guys. And I want to touch on this the Summer Spirit Fest that's going down. It's coming up.
August 6th.
August 6th.
August 7th, Meriwether Post Pavilion. This will be our 11th year. On August 6th, we have Erykah Badu, Janelle Monáe, Gregory Porter, Leela James, Daly. We have Avery Sunshine. We have Belladonna, along with Sugar Bear and DJ Cool. That's going to crush.
Oh, you know that.
And then we're going to Sunday. We have Jill Scott, The Roots, the legendary Roots group from Philadelphia. Kindred and the Family Soul. We have. Why my mind stopped on me?
Because there are two groups we can't.
I can't announce that one. But I can say Wisdom Speaks going to be there, and Chuck Brown's band's going to be there. But there's another surprise. Some other surprise we have in store.
Yeah.
Now the thing that I want you to understand and how we've been working for the last 40 years or 35 years or whatever number we decide.
43.
Anytime we want to tell you what it is, people always ask, how long have you been doing concerts? Been doing it for a minute. We always felt that we have to have our own hometown represented in anything that we do. If you remember correctly, back in the day, we had Chuck involved with the Roots playing at the Warner Theater. We had
Jill
Chuck
Scott
play with Jill.
So you pulled that off.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
But in order for your town, your hometown to get respect, they got to be respected. And there have been a lot of conversations we've had individually and collectively trying to tell some of the local bands where they need to go and things they need to do. But for whatever reason, it hasn't clicked yet. And you asked the question earlier, how come certain genres of music haven't turned a certain corner in development? And it's all about content of what they have to say. That's why Junkyard Band still is relevant across country and across, because they talked about poverty in DC. You know what I mean? Chuck did it admirably because Chuck gave you a history lesson in music. He took you down a corridor of all kinds of repertoires from Duke Ellington to Barry White to Stevie Wonder. He gave you all of that in his presentation. A lot of groups don't do that today. If they ain't talking about booty or drugs, they don't have a conversation. So from what I see, and I'll be to blame for this conversation, when they asked me, well, how come we can't do this? I said, because you have not come out of your own self. I remember back in the day, I was talking to George Clinton, he said some artists sing to the audience, and some artists sing to themselves in the mirror. So if you only sing it to yourself, you only hear what you're saying. But if you're talking to people and have something to keep a person's attention, they're either going to vicariously want to be a part of you, they want to live through you or through your experiences because you educate them. But Curtis Mayfield did it. I can tell you, Marvin Gaye did it. Those people gave us something to chew on and eat on. Those people last forever and ever. If you're not saying nothing, you ain't going nowhere. And that regular old beat, I get it. It works. I can tell you all the people who profited off that beat. There's a ton of groups who profited off that beat way past DC. Talk about Nelly. Talk about all the hip-hop groups that came out of New York. All of them. But when it comes to local groups that have been born and bred, great musical skills, but as far as having content, they need to stop singing to the mirror and sing to the audience and drive them to having a place to go in their mind positively. Chuck would tell you, treat the girls right, treat the fellas right. He would tell you those things. Nobody's talking about that. They're talking about popping a bottle or shaking your booty. Come on, man. Come on, man. And I'm very upset. I'll talk about other parts of the
look, for all you bands that's listening right now, look, check this out, man. You just got a history lesson. Not only a history lesson, you just got an education on what and what not to do if you want to excel to the next level, okay? And everything that he said, you're going to touch on something too. Everything that he just said is 1,000,000% correct. Because I tell a lot of bands that myself. They're singing to themselves, talking to themselves, like you said. Relate to the audience more. Yes, Mr. Scott.
Doing GoGo Live was great. But we took GoGo international, okay? Darryll Brooks took Chuck Brown for a 12-city tour in Japan.
Right.
Okay? The three of us did 2 days at the Apollo Theater.
Right.
In New York with nothing but go-go bands. Okay. EU was introduced to Salt and Pepper. that's how that song came together.
And let's talk about that too. From what I understand, you guys used to manage Salt and Pepper.
Yes.
Yeah. How was that experience working with
Herbie Lovebug
yeah.
and the girl? It was kind of interesting because Carol and I and Herb, after we had done some shows with Salt and Pepper, a couple of shows, concerts here in the DC area, he looked at us and said, okay, you guys do this very well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You present great shows, your shows run well, and your promotional stuff runs well. I produce records. I have a whole, management company. Why don't we do a joint venture and bring our companies together? And then you do what you do best, you guys do what you do best,
right.
I'll do our best, and see what can come out of that. And that was a good run. That was a real good run. I want to make one clarity. Chuck Brown took me and us to Japan. He was already established in Japan. He ended up having me as a road manager. But I did grab a local group and took them over and introduced them over there in that area. And that particular group at that time was GoGo DC Scorpio, and that's because we had a record from I Hear Your Records. that's what we do.
I Hear Your Records, ladies and gentlemen. This is I Hear Your Records, in case you guys didn't know. Elaborating on it one more time, man. We're going to take a little crank break and come right back with my man Darryll Brooks, Gerald Scott, and Miss Carol Kirkendall. After these messages, we're going a little crank break, man. It's Heartbeat Conga Hour. Let's go.
All right.
Like I say, 8 to 10 p.m. each and every Tuesday night here on eLikeMedia.net, powered by the Big Bad Live Music For You.com. Sitting here with my main man, Gerald Scott, Darryll Brooks, and Miss Carol Kirkendall from the legendary, back in the day, Tiger Flower, I'll say, G Street Express. And now we're, what's the name of that new company again, one more time, Mr. Brooks?
CD Enterprise.
Okay, I like the way you say that, man. Everybody give them a round of applause. They're here, they're still here with the Heartbeat Conga Hour. Y'all can clap your hands. It ain't too bad to do, man. So we've been touching on a whole lot of subjects, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening. We have gotten a history lesson today. A lot of things that I thought I knew about these guys, I had no idea. All right, let's elaborate a little bit on the Martin Luther King holiday situation, if you don't mind me asking.
Back in, I don't remember what year it was.
75.
There was a lot of
sharp.
No, you're absolutely correct. I think the people were trying to figure out what to do. Stevie had concerns. There was also a mental consciousness base of collective minds who also wanted to see a King holiday.
Okay.
And they kind of broached Stevie with the idea. I think Stevie might have had the idea, but he ended up in, I would say, like a think tank of people that said, hey, this would be something we could probably do, pull off. And I think that kind of nurtured in his mind, and then they said, okay, let's try to implement something. Let's try to bring some attention to it.
Okay.
Well, the idea of trying to do something on the monument grounds to get a rally together came into play, and they asked us to help coordinate that.
Okay.
So since we had a relationship with the Park Service, we knew how they maneuvered. We also had a situation where we knew how to produce concerts on the monument ground.
Okay.
We basically organized the first I would say march or a rally on the monument grounds. What's interesting about that day is that they gave us a stage that we wanted, they gave us a sound system they wanted. And it happened to be a little snow overcast that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it immaculate because it was one of those odd moments in your life. Because after everybody was introduced, then they brought Stevie out. Mm-hmm. And when Stevie came out, the cloud over top of the stage, a beam of light came straight down, and everybody started, goosebumps come down my arm just thinking about it, because everybody was like blown away, saying, oh snap, this is serious right here. And it was like one of those memorable moments. But from that point on, we ended up doing a fundraiser at the Capitol Center, and we raised money to help them through the legislation part and all the different people who got involved with trying to advocate a Stevie Wonder holiday. Gil Scott Heron and a lot of other people, good people got involved, and the bigger it got, the more political it got, and then the Congressman Conyers and those guys kind of
and Dellums
took over and started try to petition on the Hill.
Yes, sir.
But that was the initial one that happened here. And there's some pictures around where you'll see us on stage with Jesse and Stevie and different guys who came and organized that first one. But the Martin Luther King holiday, it was a hometown crew that was part of, up there with underpinnings to help push that and put it and present it properly to the community and to the nation.
Well, that probably answers my next question. I was going to ask you guys what's your all-time favorite concert was, the event that you guys do. So, is anything going to top that?
No. There's one that's close, and I'll leave it to him. The Stevie Wonder is definitely my all-time favorite, and I'll let you tell you that.
Anyway, Carol happened to be in the hospital. She had a couple of small health issues, and we'd also booked a gentleman named Prince Roger Nelson.
Hold on, stop.
I'm not finished.
A gentleman named who?
Prince Roger Nelson. Prince Roger Nelson. Yeah. If you know who he is, you know who he is. But the hook is that one of our other partners who's not here now, a guy named Gregory Hines, had heard this record a long time ago while we were on the road down in North Carolina. And he had seen Prince Roger Nelson in the club. And he came back and said, man, we got to do something with this. We got to do something with this. So he gave us an album. So that's when they had, albums. So we got back to D.C., we listened to the album and said, wow, this was crazy. Because we were live performance junkies then. Because we had been in the park, we've seen hundreds of bands play. We know what good sound is. We know what that, because we've been a part of that life. So when we saw him, we talked to a guy who happened to be like us as promoters in the D.C. area. It was called Cavallo and Ruffalo. Okay. You might know them as the guys who used to own Cellar Door before Jack Boyle bought it. They were from here. So we shared with them like, hey, you need to look at this group. This guy right here is a beast. And Gregory, who happened to be a DJ or W other time, his ears were golden. So we talked to them and said, hey man, you need this. We would endorse this group. If y'all sign this group, we'll try to promote this group. Okay. Make a long story short, Carol and I happened to be in California. Prince Roger Nelson was going through the alley, going through the back door into that office. And she and I looked at each other and said, he made the meeting, okay? So the one thing we asked that management company, if you do this group, please make sure we're involved in promoting them when they come out, okay? We did Prince at Warner Theater, sold out. Had Chris Thomas MC. Gerald
not the mayor of Rap City.
Yes. Wait a minute. Gerald, Prince was late because he wanted to set the doors open at 8, but we hadn't opened that. So Chris Thomas happened to be there. Gerald said, Chris, you want to MC? And next thing you know, Chris was in the middle of the stage with a mic in his hand. He didn't have a chance to say yes or no. He's out there. So we did that.
Got to act on impulse right there.
He better. The next thing we did, we sold out 2 shows at the Armory. It snowed. We had it was called a Valentine's Day show. We had Prince, Time, and Vanity 6. And it snowed 2 days before. That's when we were known as G Street Express.
Street Express.
We made a phone call to a lot of cats we know. Our crew, along with the Armory crew, shoved all the snow from in front of the Armory, all the steps, all the streets. So when they came in there with their trucks, and the show went on. So Prince goes to a guy named Billy Sparks out of Detroit. That's the guy with the glasses in Purple Rain. Remember the guy? Yeah. He said, man, who are these dudes y'all deal with down in D.C.? He says, that G Street crew, that G Street Express crew. These are street dudes. And that was like a very bad to us because we had a reputation outside of D.C. because we always delivered and we were about our business. Then came Purple Rain. That's when my partner was in the hospital. And back then we had to use Quick Tick. Quick Tick was a company out of Texas, and you had to order your tickets and then put them in outlets. And we also had to get tickets. They didn't have the computers in the at the building. So we put up one show. I'm taking the tickets down to Show Shack and Saban's Records. And by the time I get halfway down the street, I get a phone call at the record store and say, hey, Darryll, that show was sold out. You got the only tickets in the city. You got to come back here and get show number 2. I said, God, wait, man, I got to do what? So I take those tickets, put them out, get back in my car, shoot back over to campus, and they got another whole package of tickets from me. By the time I get halfway around the Beltway, they say, Darryll, I get to my first step, Darryll, you got to come back. We done sold out show number 2. We got show number 3 here. I said, wait. make a long story short. We sold out 7 shows. 7 shows. 7. I'm saying this stuff. We sold out 7 shows on that.
We played Prince like the circus. You had the circus come to town for 7 days. That's what Prince did.
If you go to Capitol Boulevard now, walk around the side, there's a sign that shows a picture of that concert saying that they had a record. Prince sold 7 shows out of the Capitol Center. Now, in the interim, they asked us, can you do something for the community? We hooked up with Gallaudet College, and Prince gave a free show at Gallaudet College. We also did the Purple Ball, which was a benefit for, what was the lady? Cole. He had a lady in I think it was in Chicago, who had a private school that he was funding. So we did a Purple Ball, and they did that. But all those things happened within a 12-day span. That's how long he stayed here. But that was one of the things. So from a concert standpoint, the Stevie obviously was a hit. The Purple Rain was a hit. And to be honest, when you come back home and you had all your own crew, all the guys you know from Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, Northwest, do the GoGo Live at the Capitol Center out the park, because it was a crown achievement to see your community, my community, partying and showing the love for their music, their own musicians, and having fun, and no problem.
No problems at all.
No problem.
Now, I'm going to take it the other way. I understand the French, I understand Stevie. But my favorite concert was Darryll Brooks at the end of the summer hut every year. We would do a program called People Day.
People Day. Okay. People Day.
And what we did this year,
we got in trouble.
The Park Service is okay. You guys can only do like 30,000 people, in Anacostia Park. We ended up with 100,000 people in Anacostia Park. Okay, to see Horace Silver, one of the giants of jazz. And they had a thing called the Jazzmobile in those days. Okay, and they bought the Jazzmobile to Anacostia Park. And I remember Horace Silver crying in his van because he had never played by himself in front of 100,000 people. And we called it People Day, because that's when the people came out.
Wish we can get back to that, man.
And preceded by the concert, there was a giant, which we got teased and kind of put down about, but we had a giant contest that involved adults, children, whole families. A watermelon eating contest.
They gave us a trailer full of watermelons. I mean, you understand? You name it, we did it. It didn't matter if it was fun, if it made sense, we would do it. So we had different sponsors. Everybody said, well, "What can we do?" I said, "I need a semi-tractor trailer with a watermelon. We have a watermelon eating contest." And they gave us a semi-tractor trailer full of watermelon. And Anacostia Park.
Then a week later, Petey Green did the famous video, "How to Eat a Watermelon."
After that.
Yes.
We used to have our own radio show at WL. It's called Compared to What's Arts Forum. Yeah, man.
Okay.
For Petey Green show every Sunday.
In the window, right?
No, this was still on Wisconsin Avenue.
Oh, they weren't at H Street yet?
No, brother. Sunling Corporation owned that building.
Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the history. It's been like a history lesson today. We got something in store for you guys too. All right. I just want to thank you guys once again. I mean, we can go all night. I'm just getting this kind of education. I commend you guys. One more time, round of applause, man. These guys are, I mean, and those in the listening audience, you should appreciate this history lesson that you got tonight, because you don't get this very often on the Heartbeat Conga Hour. I'd like to thank my man Gerald, thank my man Darryll, and Miss Carol Kirkendall for just gracing us with their presence this evening. And we got a little treat for you guys coming up, okay? Something we think you deserve, me and the whole DMV community. You guys have earned this treat, and it's going to be my pleasure, our pleasure, presenting you with this treat, all right? So after this crank break, we're going to present you guys with something, and I hope you guys like it. It's the Heartbeat Conga Hour, y'all. Let's go, Weezy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here live. Conga Hour, 8-10 p.m. each and every Tuesday night here on elikemedia.net, followed by live music for you. Now, here is the moment of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell these three distinguished royalty, any other name I can come up with at the moment. I just want to tell you guys for what you've done for our community here in the DMV. We really appreciate it. I mean, for decades and decades and decades, you guys have stood the test of time, and what you guys have done is, I don't think will ever be duplicated again. All right. So on behalf of the whole DMV community in the Heartbeat Conga Hour, I want to present you guys with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, please. This one is for Mr. Darryll Brooks. Let me read it, please.
Oh, that's lovely.
It says Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Darryll Brooks in recognition of his endless contributions for the enhancement of the DMV culture in the Heartbeat Conga Hour. Presented to you, Mr. Gerald.
Amen.
2 hours and 2 hours.
And it spelled it right. Wait, hold up. I gotta get some love on the boy.
Yes, sir.
I gotta get up there. Thank you. No problem. Appreciate that. Yay.
This next one, you, Mr. Scott.
His birthday is yesterday, too.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Mr. Gerald Scott in recognition of his endless contributions for the enhancement of the DMV culture. Heartbeat Conga Hour, June 28, 2016. We love you, brother. Congratulations.
I thank you, right.
And last but certainly not least, Lifetime Achievement Award presented to Ms. Kirkendall in recognition of her endless contributions for the enhancement of the DMV culture. Heartbeat Conga Hour, June 28, 2016. Presented to you, man. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Okay? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go out here and listen to a little bit of the High Slip Band. We're going to stay for like a few minutes just to hear the band out. And before we leave, any shout outs or anything you want to say?
Summer Spirit Festival, August 6th and 7th. Please don't let this not happen in your lifetime. Witness what's going to transpire in the DMV. The local groups are going to welcome the out-of-towners. Get the message. It's going to be on. It's going to be one of the most incredible concerts you've ever witnessed.
I can't wait.
Ever witnessed.
I can't wait. How about you, Mr. Scott?
I second what Mr. Brooks said. I can guarantee you this will be the highlight, not of your summer, but the highlight of your year.
Wow. Ms. Kirkendall.
I have to just say, second and third, the Spirit Festival is the graduate to Humankind's Day and many things that we did. And so it's our finale every year. It's going to be awesome. You look at the talent, you can't beat it.
That's right.
No.
Not just another concert, but
But in an event.
you've been saying it all your life.
Yes, we have.
Been saying it all your life.
Put your hands together, y'all. Please. We're going to go out here
Thank you, man.
and check out this situation. We're back after this crank break on the Heartbeat Conga Hour, man. Let's go.
Thank you.